Good day and welcome to CEO Port Elizabeth. Thankfully, it appears that COVID is slowly but surely becoming a thing of the past. However, it has left us with one or two legal questions, and these legal questions specifically relate to misconduct that was committed during COVID times, specifically relating to health and safety in the workplace. Naturally, with the initial lockdown and the subsequent lowering of levels that followed, certain companies introduced new policies and regulations into their workplace, which amended either their current disciplinary codes or provided new disciplinary codes which specifically spoke to the rules and regulations and the policies regarding COVID health and safety in the workplace. Inasmuch as many companies did this and amended their disciplinary codes or even provided new disciplinary codes in the workplace, there were unfortunately many companies that did not do this. As a result, and as of late, we are seeing many more referrals to the CCMA for unfair dismissals based on misconduct which occurred during COVID times, and those that specifically relate to health and safety breaches in the workplace. At this stage, it's important to draw our members' attention to the fact that when deciding a dismissal, the Commissioner mainly looks at two different branches, that being procedural fairness and substantive fairness. Procedural fairness we'll deal with on another day, but today we'll focus on the substance or the substantive fairness, and what this entails is the reasons or the merits for the dismissal. And what we'll briefly discuss today, because this is an area that is rich in information and facts, is just briefly the substantive fairness regarding dismissals for misconduct relating to health and safety breaches in the workplace. When determining whether a dismissal is substantively fair or not, an employer should always have regard to Schedule 8 of the Labour Relations Act, and more specifically the Code of Good Practice on dismissals. When a person is deciding whether or not a dismissal based on misconduct is fair, such person should have regard to whether or not a rule was contravened in the workplace, and whether or not that rule was a reasonable rule, that rule was well known to the employee or could have been well known to the employee, that rule is applied consistently, and lastly, that the sanction that is imposed based on the breach of that rule is fair given in the circumstances. To illustrate this example, I think let's take a practical look at the CEO Port Elizabeth office to show just how we've set up the disciplinary code and how employees are made aware of the different rules in the workplace. Over and above the policies being placed on a wall to which all employees have access and which they walk past on a daily basis, it's important to make sure that you communicate with your employees if there are any new policies introduced and if there are any policies that have been amended in your disciplinary code. This becomes of vital importance, especially when trying to prove a misconduct related to a breach of a rule in the workplace. And what is common cause a lot of the times these days is employees merely say, I wasn't aware of the rule. So in order to ensure you are covered if a matter goes to the CCMA, follow these simple procedures, make sure all employees are aware of the policies and rules in the workplace, and you should be covered going forward. Thank you from CEO PE office, and we hope to see you again.